So, Tulsi Gabbard was the only one in the entire House of Representatives that demonstrated any semblance of, basic common sense and voted present for the impeachment articles rather than participating in political theater. Unfortunately, but expectedly, many liberals they whined. They whined. But hey, every time Tulsi opens her mouth, they whine. So what's new? Let's talk about it. What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. I am your humble host, Niko House. Good morning if you're watching this with us here in the morning. So, huge news came out yesterday. Tulsi Gabbard voted present for both articles of impeachment. I'm not going to lie. When she voted present on the articles of impeachment, I actually thought, okay, cool. Now the news isn't going to be about Tulsi. They can hash it out and argue and whine and moan and, have their little partisan, game of tug of war. And Tulsi gets to continue doing what she does. Campaigning, meeting people, not being bothered or worried about this impeachment that is going to go absolutely nowhere. However, that isn't what happened. Weirdly enough, she ended up trending number 2 on Twitter with her impeachment vote. Was not expecting that, quite honestly. It's crazy because even when Tulsi isn't trying to win, she still manages to come out on top. And it's still crazy to me because, well, if you think about it, there are a lot of people who say Tulsi had just absolutely no chance of winning. She's completely and totally irrelevant. Why does people even worry about her? She's done. Remember, she's over before the first debate, people already said she wasn't going to make the debate. But even after that, when she didn't make that debate that she actually didn't qualify for, they said, oh, her campaign is done. Turned out she was the 4th most Google candidate while not being on the debate stage. Then every debate she's been a part of, she was the number 1 Google candidate. And she'll probably be one of the top Google candidates once again in this December debate that she refuses to participate in. It's just crazy to me that the person who's completely irrelevant trends more than any other candidate, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Tulsi had me worried at first because I did not know what she was going to vote. I could give an educated guess. My hypothesis was that she would vote for abstention and then subsequently present in the articles, but I didn't know. I was worried. I was scared that she was going to vote yes. I was. Because remember, she did support the inquiry, but she did come out later, of course, and say, this isn't looking too good, people. I'm not. And then she decided to be the adult in the room, to be quite honest with you. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. But before we get into that shit, let me be very clear about something. Let me be very, very clear about something, ladies and gentlemen. Your little neo-progressive friends, your neoliberal friends who are pretending to be up in arms about Tulsi's present vote, long story short, they're full of shit. I don't know how else to put that. They are full of shit. Not a little bit. I'm talking about a whole porta potties worth. They're all of that. Here's why. I've noticed all of a sudden. So remember about 2 years ago, right? And this is before anybody announced, obviously. The idea of impeachment on Russiagate was considered bogus unanimously by progressives. Why is that? Because we knew that Russiagate was nonsense. We knew that it was BS. We knew that it was simply a cover-up, right? An attempt to overturn the results of the 2016 presidential election, but also divert attention from the fact that it was actually Hillary Clinton who was working with Russia via her Uranium One deal. We found out that Clinton was overthrowing governments in the Ukraine, and because of it's a lot of stuff that was happening. But ultimately, everything in Russiagate that they had accused Trump of, it was actually Hillary Clinton who committed the crime. And so progressives were like, look, we ain't touching this. We're not getting involved in this. We may not like Trump, but what we're not going to do is usurp democracy, commit a soft coup or support the support the commencement of a soft coup just because neoliberals are butthurt. We're not going to do that. That's not what we're going to do. Now we fast forward. Of course, it's election season now, so everybody has a little bit of skin in the game, right? And some Bernie supporters, they've been pissing me off. Because, of course, we know that Bernie has supported impeachment officially. He's come out and supported it. He will likely vote to prosecute, of course. And so now, just like with everything else, because Tulsi did something different than Bernie, you have a lot of progressives who are like, oh my God, how could she not vote yes? I can't believe her. She's such a coward. Trump is so corrupt. See, there are two problems with that statement. We know Trump is corrupt. Yeah, I think we all know this. I think Republicans know this. I think Trump himself knows this, although he probably gives less of a damn about it than we do. But I want to explain something to you, and I want to make this crystal clear. I don't give a damn how much you do not like a president. You don't get to usurp democracy to get the results you want. You don't get to cheat the system to get the results you want. Because if we begin to do this, you are no different than the neoliberals who cheated to try and get Hillary elected. You are no different than Hillary Clinton. You are no different than Debbie Wasserman Schultz. You are no different than Donna Brazile. You are no different than Joanne Reen. You are no different than Rachel Maddow. You are no different than Neera Tanden. You all pushing this impeachment bullshit to distract away from the election. You all pushing this attack on Tulsi being the only adult in the room shows that you're simply another one of the children in the fucking room. That's what that demonstrates. I'm explaining you why. Because oftentimes, the adults don't get the credit they deserve. Making the hardest decisions. What Tulsi did was shown in 2 houses of Congress, in a House of Representatives, and a Senate. There is one person fit to be president of the United States because everybody else wants to play fucking politics. Everybody else wants to play politics. Tulsi wants to be the adult. Tulsi wants to be the leader. And of course, you know how you knew she was in the right? Because everybody attacked her for it. Except for the people with common sense. Except for the people who are looking for a leader, not someone who wants to play a protagonist or an antagonist in a partisan political theater. That is simply a diversion. That is simply a distraction. That is simply an attempt to usurp democracy. I don't give a fuck how corrupt Trump is. We don't get to ignore democracy. We don't get to ignore due process merely to remove somebody we don't like. That is not how this shit works. We are not a banana republic. The founding fathers may have had a lot of issues with themselves personally, but they got one thing right. Due process no matter what. This Constitution is law until we go through a democratic process to change what the Constitution says is law. Because if we set precedents like this right now, guess what, you fucking idiots? So for you Bernie supporters, it can be used against Bernie. Because yeah, Bernie may be right a lot on domestic issues. And sometimes he gets foreign policy right. Sometimes he gets foreign policy wrong. Now, I imagine as president, he'll probably get more foreign policy issues right than wrong. But here's what's going to happen. When he's doing this little mixed bag of foreign policy, and then he tries to do something like hold another person accountable, even if they were part of another administration, because there may be an open investigation on them. Like right now, there's still an open investigation into the Clinton Foundation, even though Clinton is a former participant in the Obama administration. It doesn't matter. There's still an open investigation that started while she was part of the Obama administration. If Trump would have to prosecute her, then he should fucking do it because it's his goddamn job. Now, if Bernie has to, because what if this Clinton Foundation investigation ends up carrying over into a Bernie Sanders presidency, and now, guess what? He got to prosecute Hillary Clinton. All of a sudden, well, did you hear that phone call from Bernie? Did you hear that phone call from Bernie? Uh-oh. I think we might have to impeach Bernie on corruption. Is that some quid pro quo we hear? If Bernie doesn't play ball, he gonna get the same treatment. Why is this not common sense, people? You don't get to usurp democracy because your fucking feelings are hurt. People, oh, he's corrupt. He's corrupt. Oh my God. He's corrupt. Yeah, okay, we know. But did he or did he not threaten the Ukrainian government to withhold aid? He did not. And as a matter of fact, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I put out a tweet yesterday. I said, anyone who can show me on the transcript where Trump said more or less, if you do not help me investigate Joe Biden, I will withhold aid from you. Guess what? I offered $100. I said I will cash app anybody $100. $100. If you can show me where Trump said that. Where is the threat? Guess what? Ain't nobody got that $100. The closest somebody got to me was telling me, well, Trump said that we're allies. We've been allies and we give them a lot of aid. Yeah, because we've been allies with the Ukraine and we give them a lot of aid. So it would behoove them to help us. Just like we talked to Netanyahu, just like we talked to Saudi Arabia, unfortunately. Just like we talked to the UK, just like we talked to the EU, we give you a lot of aid. We are allies. Throw us a bone here. There's a word for that, and I can't remember. Oh, fuck. It's called diplomacy. It's a head of state talking to another head of state about trying to get some shit done. It's called diplomacy. It was Trump for one of the few fucking times in the entirety of his presidency doing his goddamn job. The one time that this man begins to do his damn job, y'all upset about the shit. Now, here what pissed me off even more, because even though I've endorsed Tulsi, I still support Bernie. And so whenever I see Bernie's chances begin to get hurt, it is still just as irritating to me. What do I mean by that? I mean these dumb ass Bernie supporters who are trying to inadvertently tank Bernie's campaign, hurt his chances to win. Why do I say that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, what is this impeachment really about? What is this impeachment really about? What is this? I legitimately want to know. Think to yourself, what is this impeachment really about? Who was that Ukraine call over? It was over one Hunter Biden. Yes or no? Okay, which means that it's really about who? Joe Biden. Which means this impeachment is about what? Protecting Joe Biden and that establishment that he runs with at all costs, but mostly protecting Joe Biden, the last establishment hope to beat an outsider progressive candidate. You fucking idiots. You are mad because Tulsi wouldn't vote yes to protect Joe Biden. That's what you're mad about. Not that Tulsi didn't vote yes to overthrow, that's basically what you're trying to do, but to oust Donald Trump. Tulsi refused to vote yes to defend Joe Biden yesterday. That's what she did. But she also refused to vote no because, oh yeah, Trump is guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors. He is absolutely guilty of that shit. But it ain't in the way that y'all trying to present it. Tulsi is not naive. Tulsi is not an idiot. Tulsi read the writing on the wall. She looked to the left of her. She looked to the right of her. And she said, y'all are all full of shit. I'm tired of this. I'm not playing this game with y'all anymore. I'm not participating in this. So no, she is not going to vote no for those conservatives, because that's what it is. Everybody who is upset, they're partisan. I call it PBH. You partisan butthurt. That's what it is. People who vote where she voted yes, they're like, oh my God, but Trump is corrupt. I don't care. You don't get to remove someone just because you don't like them. You beat them at the ballot box if you don't like them. Or you introduce articles of impeachment of which he's actually guilty of committing. Maybe that. Maybe introduce the emolument clause. Okay, maybe that. Maybe war crimes in Yemen. Maybe that. Maybe war crimes in Syria. Maybe that. But, oh my God, he had a phone call in which he was trying to actually do his goddamn job for once in his fucking presidency. No, we had to impeach him on that. That's what we're going to impeach him on? Come on, bruh. And then everybody on the right who was mad because she didn't vote no. Well, that's just a weak. Why didn't she just vote against the impeachment? Oh, no, because you got it fucked up. Trump should be impeached. Trump absolutely committed impeachable offenses. Absolutely. He did violate that emolument clause. He absolutely did. He did commit war crimes. He absolutely did. But here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bipartisan consensus on violating the emolument clause. There's a bipartisan consensus on not only committing war crimes, but voting for them. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, if Trump did commit a crime, if he did violate the Constitution, it was because he got bipartisan support to do so, and he would have never been impeached to begin with. How do I know that? Hey, didn't he literally launch rockets at a country because of an alleged chemical weapons attack that never took place? Question, really quick, everybody. Were there articles of impeachment introduced for that? He launched. I don't know how else to, because this, that's the people who have never felt the heat of a missile. They don't understand what the fuck that feels like. He launched rockets at a country before conducting an investigation on an alleged chemical weapons attack that we later found out was not an attack. It was not a chemical weapons attack. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a fucking war crime. That was a preemptive, unprovoked assault. Why do I say it was preemptive? Because there was no proof of any type of chemical weapon attack. Where's the impeachment? Yeah, we know Trump he's been getting rich. He's been stacking money as president of the United States. Absolutely. His family's making money. Ivanka Trump ain't made more money in her entire career. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's a bipartisan consensus on getting rich while you in the government. Ask Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is worth $120 million as a lifelong congresswoman. Boy, I did not know that you can make $120 million as a legitimate congresswoman. What the hell has Bernie Sanders been doing? He didn't get his first million until he was the most popular presidential candidate in history and wrote a damn book. See, that's Bernie's problem. Bernie must have been spending his money. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't living up to the Jewish stereotype. He won't saving his money the correct way. See, I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi just simply made her money through extremely intelligent stock market investments and wise sharing habits. She was very frugal. Nothing to do with enriching herself using the power of her office. Nothing to do with that. See, there's a bipartisan consensus on violating the emolument clause. So they were never going to impeach him on that. If this impeachment, I mean, this is the most consistent pattern we have seen throughout political history. If this impeachment were good for the people, it wouldn't be happening. I thought that we've already established this. If the impeachment were good for the people, it wouldn't be happening. You wouldn't know about it. It wouldn't even get any headlines. It wouldn't make the news. It wouldn't happen. Because, you know how I know? You know it didn't make the news? That new NAFTA. That new NAFTA that they just pushed through. Oh, yeah. Y'all didn't know that, did you? NAFTA 2.0 just came out. After Trump went on his little tirade about how he hates NAFTA. NAFTA's so bad. We're pulling out of NAFTA. Yeah. NAFTA 2.0 just hit the fucking... Come on, bruh. You know they also just did? Trump's a crazy man. He's going to start World War III. He's unstable. So we're going to give him a bunch of goddamn money. Hey, Trump, go ahead and get that military money. Whoop. Here you go. There you go. That's what they passed too. Oh, they were happy to give it to him too. Amongst other things that were passed right under your fucking nose while y'all was so worried about impeachment. See, Tulsi, once again, is worried about the issues that afflict people every single day. And more importantly, I'm sure she probably feels like we do. I'm not trying to help Biden beat Bernie or Tulsi. And that's what y'all wanted her to vote for. You wanted her to vote to help Biden. Let's distill it and call it what it is. Thanks for the super chat, Donald Smeed. For all the attacks you get, I think Tulsi's the only one that can repair our international relations enough for U.S. corporations to remain relevant. I'm not sure I understand that entirely. Shocky27, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for standing up for truth, Niko. Seems the Democratic Party do everything they can to drive Tulsi-crats away. Even Krista Ball is being attacked as a Trump stooge. Where do we go from here? You know what? I'll tell you where we go from here. We keep telling the truth. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, y'all are forgetting something. I told y'all this was going to happen. I said Tulsi is going to suffer yet benefit from the Trump effect. Who was ostracized from the Republican Party right before he kicked their ass? Remember that? And why was he able to kick their ass in such a way that like a Jeb Bush or a Ted Cruz couldn't rig the system in their favor? Because there was way too many damn candidates. Remember that? And because there was way too many candidates, the one who was the most controversial, but the one that was perceivedly the only one not playing politics, that's the one who won. Do you think it's a coincidence that Tulsi continues to rise? She continues to make headlines. She continues to trend. They're so worried about her. Everything Tulsi does has them hot and bothered. Everything she does has her hot and they have them hot. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing ever. I'm not gonna lie. This type of obsession I kind of wasn't expecting. But this is crazy. These people are crazy. I had somebody argue with me. It was a Bernie supporter. I had somebody argue with me yesterday. And this is all I asked them every time. Cause I'm not arguing back and forth with people anymore. They presented the same. How could she not vote yes? That was a cowardly vote. Okay. No, she's not going to participate in partisan political theater. Not happening. She doesn't do it any other time. Why would you expect her to begin to do it now? Then they say, well, Trump is corrupt. Yeah, okay. We agree on that. Well, he violated the articles and there's clear corruption. Okay, show me the fucking transcript where he threatened. Show me the transcript. I offered $100 to anybody who can show me. Nobody can. They hit me with these platitudes. They say, well, he's corrupt. We're just going to let him get away with everything else. No. Hell no. You don't get to say, we're going to punish him for everything else by introducing these articles of impeachment that have nothing to do with that. Nope. You know what's funny? Tulsi is still technically registered a Democrat because Hawaii has closed primaries, and yet it seems like she's the only independent in both the House and the Senate. That's what it seems like to me. Everybody else is playing partisan political games. All I'm saying is we have already seen this pattern before. And we saw it. The person who refused to play into the Democratic and Republican Party narratives, the person who was the only one really that was able to call out Hillary Clinton, not on some BS, but on some real shit, going at her jugular. The person who can look at his own party and say, y'all are full of shit, just like the Democrats. Look at the establishment candidates in his own party and say, y'all are full of shit, just like the Democrats. Y'all full of shit, just like the Democrats. The candidate who could say Bush was just as bad of a president as Donald Trump. The candidate who was doubted. The candidate they talk shit about. The candidate who was ostracized by both the left and the right. That candidate is not president of the United States of America. Whether or not you like him, we've seen this pattern before. We've seen how this game goes. And guess what the difference between Tulsi and Trump is? The difference is Tulsi means what she says. You want to know why people are so upset? Because people are realizing, the progressives specifically, they're realizing it now more than ever. They don't want to admit it to themselves, but they're realizing it now more than ever. Tulsi is the only. Oh, no. I can't lie. Okay, so I got to give Andrew Yang credit because he was very clear. But he said, look, we know the president is corrupt, but we can't be playing this game. He did say that on the debate stage, and that's been his position pretty consistently. So I can't take away credit from Andrew Yang there. But, I mean, politicians actually, and in a current elected position, she's the only independent. She's the only adult, and she's the only leader. She marches to the beat of her own drum. And when you thought that your candidate was the one who did that, but instead you now have to find yourself defending your candidate's party hard lines. You have to defend your candidate or defend Democratic establishment positions just to make it look like your candidate isn't leaning as establishment as you originally thought they would. Now you got to attack Tulsi because you can no longer defend that shit. Unknown Space Pioneer. What do you think about introducing more meaningful articles in the future? His racism as in Andrew Jackson and the emoluments. They're not going to do racism, but the emoluments, yes. I've always said strategically impeachment is stupid, but dutifully, if someone introduces the emolument clause, you gotta vote for it. You got to. Plus, Pence is easier to beat, and we're almost done with the election. There's not much going to get done if Pence gets in office now. But I've always said, I don't think strategically emoluments is a good idea. But if the emoluments get introduced, you gotta vote for that. You gotta support that. I've been said this. If a war crimes impeachment article was introduced, you gotta vote for that because he committed war crimes. But are we talking about the war crimes? No. Are we talking about the monuments? No. We talking about protecting Joe Biden. That's what Bernie wants to do. That's what Warren wants to do. That's what AOC wants to do. That's what Rashida Tlaib wants to do. That's what Neera Tanden wants to do. That's what Hillary wants to do. That's what Biden wants. This isn't an impeachment against Trump. This is a protection of Joe Biden. And I would have been so fucking pissed if Tulsi would have voted yes to protect Joe Biden. I would have been pissed. I would have been, I don't even know. I don't even know. And all of a sudden, Tulsi got these lizard brain people so fucked up in the head that, like, because Tulsi voted, if Bernie would have voted president, those people would have been celebrating. Oh man, Bernie, thank you for focusing on the issues. You're truly a leader. You're independent. You're the one. See, that's why I like you, Bernie. You're not playing their game. Cause that's the Bernie we fell in love with in 2016. You're not playing that game. But now because it's Tulsi who decided to stand out, all of a sudden, once again, that lizard brain turns on. Oh my God, now I actually support impeachment and helping the one candidate who is propped up to beat my candidate. That's what you're doing, you fucking morons. That's what you're doing. Hey, Bernie, you're right, Bernie. We should support this illegitimate impeachment, and we should make sure that everybody knows that Trump is corrupt, even though it's Biden who is actually guilty. And that's why they're trying to impeach Trump on this. How do I know this? Because we saw them play this game before. It was Hillary Clinton who was actually guilty of Russiagate, and they accused Trump of it. It kept throwing out impeachment. Nigga, this shit was 3 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. We just saw it happen. They used the same playbook, and the burners got it the first time. They missed it the second time. Come on, bruh. John Batch, thanks for the super chat. Donald Smee, thanks for the super chat. You're on fire, Niko. Where do you get your shirts? Oh, Donald, come on, man. You know I can't tell you my secrets like that. Oh, you trying to expose me in front of my audience, man. I can't have everybody walking around with the same shirts as myself. I might start telling, like, you know, putting out little hints every now and then. You know, maybe. I'll see how I feel. So, we've already seen this playbook. We've already seen it. We saw a Russiagate. Hillary was actually guilty of the rigging. Hillary was actually guilty of the rigging. They blamed Trump for it. Biden was actually guilty of threatening. It was a video. There was a fucking video. There's a video! Not only is Biden guilty of threatening to withhold aid from the Ukrainian government if they didn't fire a prosecutor who was investigating the Burisma shit, but he was braggadocious about the shit. He was like, go ahead, call President Obama. Go ahead, call him. I don't care. He gonna say the same thing. Go ahead. He was cocky about the shit. He just knew in his heart and soul that he was never going to be held accountable for that shit. A vote for impeachment is a vote to protect Joe Biden. Period, point blank. I don't give a fuck if you see it otherwise. You're not using your brain. Be mad, be upset, be emotional. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Somebody gonna have to keep it real with y'all, since everybody else is so concerned about being, I want to prove how left I am. I want to prove how liberal I am. I want to prove how much of a Bernie support. I'm gonna support everything Bernie does, no matter what. Somebody gotta fucking support the truth. And the truth is, if you're a Trump supporter, your president did commit impeachable offenses. However, he's not being impeached on those offenses. But you need to reconcile with yourself how much of an outsider your president really is. When he is launching rockets at Syria, when he is committing war crimes in Yemen, and while he's being Saudi Arabia's bitch, while he is towing almost every single Republican party line, hard line talking point after he said that they were so bad during the election. You need to reconcile that with yourself. Now, if you're a Democrat or a liberal or a progressive, you need to reconcile this shit. Get your fucking heads out of your asses. Get your head out of your asses. We have a chance to win this election, and you're about to throw it out of the window just so you can pat yourself on the fucking back and feel good. Oh my God, Trump hurt my feelings. Trump hurt my feelings. I can't. Oh my God, he's so corrupt. He hurt my feelings. Okay, then tell your candidate to impeach him on the right shit. We have already had, me and Kyle Kalinske, we were at Politicon, and we had a live stream interview where we talked about impeachment. And me and Kyle, he's a Bernie supporter, clearly, right? I've endorsed Tulsi, clearly. Bernie, this is the stance that Kyle does not like of Bernie's. And at the time, I didn't know what the fuck Tulsi was going to do, because Tulsi's kind of unpredictable sometimes. But we were both very clear. He said, look, man, strategically, I don't agree with the impeachment in any capacity strategically, right? Because there's two sides to this. There's a strategic side if you want to beat Trump and if you want to win. But then there's the morally principled stance, which is if you violate him on the emolument clause, strategically, I disagree with impeachment. We should just beat him at the ballot box. But morally, if you introduce those articles, you got to vote for those. Because he did. If you want to war crimes, you got to vote for those. Strategically, it might be bad for you, but shit, you got to stand for something, because this is the shit he actually did. And today we would be having a different conversation. But that's not what happened. Yesterday, we got Article 1. High crimes against Joe Biden. Article 2. High crimes against Hunter Biden. What do you vote? We all vote to protect Joe Biden. Nah, we all hate Joe Biden. Tulsi voted, man, fuck all y'all, I'm out. Oh, man. And when this debate comes up, oh, man, y'all so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all so fucking stupid. Y'all just made Joe Biden the hero of the debate tonight. Y'all just made Joe, or is it tonight? Yeah, it's tonight, right? The debate's tonight. Y'all just made Joe Biden. Y'all just made Joe Biden the hero of the debate. Oh my God, they're gonna be like, how does it feel to be exonerated, Joe Biden? Everything they said about you is untrue. Trump is such a liar, and this impeachment vote proves it. Oh my God, how does it feel? Jesus Christ. These motherfuckers do not want to win shit. They don't want to win shit. They don't want a progressive in office. They want to pat themselves on the back. They want retweets and likes on Twitter. They want to play the white savior. They don't want to win shit. Don't let them convince you otherwise. You know, my mom called me the other day, worried out of her mind. And this is the first time I ever heard this from her. She said, Niko, I feel like I'm never going to be able to retire. If I don't work, I don't have health insurance. If I don't have health insurance, I can't buy my insulin. But I'm working. I have a really good job position. And it's still not enough because my raises aren't matching my rent increases. Then every time I get a raise, they raise the price of my health insurance. And then the price of my doctor's visits raise every year. I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to retire. My mom is not a woman who likes to tell me what she's worried about in the future. Because she's usually so worried about what's happening that day, because that's just kind of how we grew up. But now that she's finally had time to settle down and look 10 years into the future, she's terrified. These problems that these people pretend to give a fuck about on Twitter, people like myself, my mother, the people that I grew up around back in Fayetteville, in North Carolina, where we had the second per capita fucking murder rate in the country at one point. I lived on the street that I grew up on. We had three of Cumberland County's top 5 most wanted living on my street. I was friends with 2 of them, I'll be honest with you. But these people didn't have any way out. The shit that people trivialize on Twitter, they pretend to give a fuck about, these people are going through this shit every day. And no, all of us can't run out of the Bronx to go hide upstate in New York. No, Emma, our parents didn't work for Elizabeth Warren and don't work for the Attorney General's office of New York. So we can't escape poverty like you. We can't go get a job at TYT and pretend to be progressive and then the actual progressives all get fired. We can't do that, sorry. No, Anna. Some of us, I'm imperfect. I'm in the process of fixing my teeth right now. I can't afford a nose job though, Anna. I don't got $1 million in the bank account. And then my job at TYT can't make me a professor at USC, so I get 2 different forms of income. So I can't pretend these issues don't exist. Some of us have skin in the game, and it's life or death. It is sink or swim. And y'all are so busy playing fucking politics and playing white savior. Y'all are about to kill the base that you supposedly support. I can't even, strategically, it doesn't make any sense. I can't say you want to be right because you got to know that this shit is wrong. What is your goal here? What is the goal? It seems like the goal is for y'all to just feel good about yourselves. And to make money while doing it. To get followers, to get views, to get subscriptions while doing it. Ain't nobody got time for this shit, bruh. If you want to win, vote for Tulsi in 2020. If you want the same old shit, vote for somebody else. I don't give a fuck. But understand, and I mean this sincerely, I may like other candidates, but I mean this shit very, very sincerely. A vote for anybody else outside of Tulsi is absolutely more of the exact same partisan political bullshit. And you can fucking bet that shit. I've seen this shit way too many times. I've read history. I've read way too much history to know how this game ends. Vote for FDR. That's cool. You still get war. Oh, well, we'll put Henry Wallace as vice president. Then whenever, Henry Wallace dies, or gets out of office, whenever FDR dies or gets out of office, Henry Wallace will be the president, right? No, Henry Wallace gets cheated. The guy who actually should have been president gets cheated, remember? That's how we end up with Truman, who drops a nuclear weapon. I know how this game goes. I know how this story ends. If you don't put Henry Wallace in this time instead of FDR, we're done. Another 2 to 3 decades of the same shit. And we don't have another 2 or 3 decades. So you can vote Tulsi and actually fix this shit, or you can vote somebody else and mitigate it for a few more years, only for us to continue down the exact same path once that person gets co-opted and corrupted. Period. Thank you all so much for tuning into that live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Hope you enjoyed this morning's show. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Rockfin, and always remember, more than anything else, Find your balance, because these motherfuckers clearly cannot find theirs. Jesus. Peace. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Of course, if YouTube is giving you trouble, as it always does, you can download the Rockfin app and follow us there. Also, if you want to continue to help our show grow, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon and donate as little as $1. Really, anything helps. Other than that, always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.